Well, welcome to the party, everybody, and this is a great party indeed. Because I'll tell you what, Brandon, you're kind of a late addition to the plan here, because we had the other guests already set up, and everybody was extremely excited about seeing everybody. And then, I don't know, it was sort of this little spark that happened when your name got mentioned. And I'll tell you, even when, you know, I work with the chamber a little bit here, and I tried to get them to tell me. They said, "Oh, we got a big announcement coming up, something special, something real important." And I'm saying, "Well, come on, you can tell me." They wouldn't even tell me, but you can just tell in their voice. They're real excited about you being here. And I think, you know, everybody's So we're going to keep this relatively informal. We're going to have a lot of fun. We've got a lot of questions out here, I'm sure. He brought his own paparazzi along.
Sorry. It's my wife.
So Alaina, I'll tell you what, we'll start ladies first. First of all, welcome.
Thank you.
And now, you're no stranger to sci-fi, of course, because of Stargate Universe as well. Were you aware of the Black Canary character before you got brought on board?
No. In fact, when I auditioned, it was like any other audition. You just sort of go in with a little bit of knowledge. You have a couple pages of sides. And then they called me and said I got the job, but they weren't going to tell me what the character was because it was top secret. And I was like, well, how am I supposed to prepare? And then they finally told me, and I didn't know who the Black Canary was, and I Googled her, and I was like, I have to wear that? I've had children. But they custom made the costume, and yeah, it was awesome. I love her. She's a great character.
Now, as far as you're concerned, Tam, when it came time to step into the role of Jimmy Olsen, and obviously you knew all about the Jimmy character and everything.
Yes, yeah.
Did you go ahead and take a look back at some of the other people that had done Jimmy Olsen before? Did you, or how were you instructed to study for your character?
You know what? I just tried to. First of all, yes, I was very familiar with both Mark McClure, really Mark McClure's portrayal of Jimmy, and so I needed no boning up at all as far as I was concerned, and then we met Jack Larson, who was Jimmy in the TV series, the old George Routh TV series. Amazing, tremendous guy, such a sweet man, and so we got to have a really cool.
Must have been a blackout.
Right.
From the movie.
He's a pretty great guy.
Still in the movie, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I actually haven't seen it. I don't know. But yeah, we got to play a scene with him, and so that was really fun in the bar, and then I just tried to take as much of myself as I could to the role, because I kind of felt like I was made to play it, and so I lucked out. I got the job, which rarely happens. Oh, stop. Stop. All right. You guys.
Now, speaking of born to play the role, Brendan, let's talk.
I really wanted to play Jimmy Olsen. Yeah.
I understand it was that close.
We were originally
taken already
for each other's roles, and I don't know what happened. But
Now, I mean, it's so obvious to all of us when we got the announcement that you were cast in the role, and we saw the initial pictures of you as Clark and as Superman. That, yep, that's the guy, all right. But for you, how long was it from the first time that you heard about the audition to when you finally found out? Because
it was about 6 or 7 months. My first initial inkling about the movie when I just auditioned for another TV show, actually, that Mick G, who was the then director, his producing partner saw me and thought maybe I had a good look for Superman, which he was doing, and mentioned me to him, and that kind of got the meeting, and then through a lot of change, 7 months later, finally I got the role.
Was it like a painful 7 months? Was it like
yes.
birth? You know?
Yes, because I screen tested once for Mick G along with I think 4 or 5 other guys, and then when news came that he was no longer on the project, it seemed like it was falling away, and so to be this close and then to have it all go away was kind of heartbreaking. But then a month and a half later, it was resurrected by Bryan Singer, and thankfully, and you know,
here we are.
Yeah.
assuming you went appropriately insane when you got the news. I mean, you can tell us, we're all friends here. I mean, so, you know.
I was more relieved than anything. It was just such a, you know, a lot of people were rooting for me and my family and stuff, and you don't want to disappoint anybody after all that big build-up. Yeah, I was in the producer's office actually and got the call. Just waiting for the call, just kind of that last little nail in the coffin, I guess, to finalize it. And so then I called my mom and dad, and my mom screamed, and yeah, so they did all the screaming for me.
Screaming, okay, that's good. As long as there's screaming involved, I'm good with that. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and open up to some questions as well. I don't suppose anybody has any questions for any of these guys. Oh, what do you know? Our lovely Supergirl is going to be whooshing around here with a microphone to help out. So, tell you what, we got this gentleman with the gentleman with the Superman shirt over here. See if we can see that whittles it down a little bit. Yeah.
My question is directed to you, Brandon. What was it like putting the suit on for the first time?
Well, that's an interesting question because I haven't thought about this before, but I actually wore another version of the suit before I wore the version in Superman Returns. There was a McGee suit. And so that was really my first time in a Superman suit, and that was a bizarre thing because it was kind of like a really plasticky prototype that they really rushed it. And I put it on, and they left me, and I'm just standing in a room going, okay, what do I do now? So I sat down and picked up a magazine. My legs crossed, sitting there reading a magazine, going, "This is the strangest thing in the world." So it was a little shocking, kind of awe-inspiring.
So what were the differences in the suit? Because
they were dramatic. Yeah. I mean, that suit was really just a prototype, and it was about that thick, and it was a material that didn't really move. It was just crunchy and weird. This was what I ended up wearing was spandex. Milliskin. This gentleman knows. Which was much more breathable.
So, as far as comfort in the suit, you were okay for the most part?
For the most part. The flying was really challenging because I had a harness on, and so the harness and everything else kind of made the whole suit a big rubber band. So, raising my arm, being vertical, horizontal? Horizontal.
That's all right. Unless you're going straight up, then it would be vertical.
Being horizontal, and having to raise your arm, having all the whole weight of the suit kind of stretched against you was a bit of a challenge, but you know, all part of the job.
Now, Alaina, your costume was nowhere near as restrictive, or was it? Were there challenges with your costume as well?
You know, the challenge of my costume is, believe it or not, my heels always get stuck in my fishnets when I fight.
I hate when that happens.
It's very odd. You're like in the middle of a spin kick, and you're like, oh, we gotta cut. My heel's caught. So they didn't do the bustier, they did it like a tank top, so that was a lot more comfortable for me. And we shoot in Canada. It's very cold in the winter, in fishnets and no pants. But other than that, it's okay.
The physical aspects of the role, though, because you're talking about the fighting and everything, how was the suit? Any problem with that? And what sort of training did you have for the physical aspects of the shoot?
Smallville, as you guys know, who watches Smallville here?
So nobody then.
Yeah. They of course do tons of stunts, tons of wire work, tons of effects. And it's built into the schedule every week. So the stunt team is really great about like trying to get you to do stuff. I mean, they'll walk up to you in the middle of rehearsal and be like, "Hey, you want to learn how to throw knives?" And you're like, "Yeah." We're gonna do some flips and some wire work, and so you'll just kind of go over in a corner and get hooked up to some harnesses and wires and be thrown around by like 5 guys. It's a lot of fun, and. It's a little bit challenging. I do have a stunt double, so all the fancy stuff is usually not me. I usually initiate a lot of it, and then they go in with my stunt double and sort of make it all look really pretty.
And at the end you go, ta-da!
Yeah,
right? Okay.
Yeah. I like flip into it and be like, ha!
That was pretty good.
That was just good. You really kind of the reality that you tried to bring to the role.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Now, customized for you, probably the roughest thing was getting used to doing the bow tie, right?
They tied it for me.
Oh,
Yeah, it would have looked like spaghetti on my face. It would have looked terrible.
So you didn't have a stunt bow tie or anything?
No, in fact, it was so interesting though. They were so anal about it. I remember Brian being really specific that he wanted it to be an actual, real bow tie. And, it's actually the one thing I kept from the movie. I have a little shadow box.
Yeah, turn these cameras off for a second here.
What's that? I stole it. I stole it. Stay in school. But I have it. It's very cool. Yeah. Anyway, not much restriction. It was pretty breathable. My fighting was minimal. Lucky.
All right, let's go for another question on the audience here. Let's get somebody over on this side. How about right up in the front row here?
Okay, this question is for all three of you. So you guys have all played many different characters. So I was wondering, what was your most challenging role and why?
Alaina, you go first. Ladies first.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Challenging in terms of character, I would say the Black Canary, because there's all the physical aspects, and then because we sort of, in Smallville, she was never really introduced, and there was no mythology, and it was sort of hinted at that she was part of the Justice League, and that she and Ollie had this relationship, and then it never really filtered through. So we kind of had to play that, but not. So that was a little bit challenging. And then Stargate, just because it was my longest run on a TV show, and the challenge in that was trying to turn the Atlantis fans to like us. That was hard. And it's still challenging.
There was this role I played in high school in a play. No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, Superman, absolutely, hands down. Not only did I have to learn to fake fly and all the process of that, but to really look like I was actually flying, and uphold an amazing legacy, and hopefully make everybody happy. Superman.
I'm on a TV show called Being Human right now. Thank you all very much. And it's really hard. It's awesome because at the end of the day, I love the show, and I think that all the hard work is warranted. But yeah, I have grueling makeup and really long hours, and the role itself is very dynamic and different and awkward and at the same time extremely fun. So yeah, so I'm being challenged right now in that role and having a blast doing it. So I would say that would be, I love you. I love you. But yeah, so that's yeah, like that.